I'm glad that you asked this question, and I hope that also as many non-Muslims are listening to the question and also listening to the answer. Because some people believe that, in private meetings we speak different than what we say in public or on the screen. In fact, Islam is the only religion which does not have hiddens. There are no hidden teachings, that we do not teach our students, our followers, something different than what we say in public. Islam is the only religion which can answer all your questions and without having to twist the truth. Sister Sarah, as many people assume that non-Muslims are impure, and accordingly we cannot eat from their food, including bakery, which they use their own hands in baking or cooking the food. And she says, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said they are impure, they cannot enter al-Masjid al-Haram. She is referring to ayah number 28 of Surah At-Tawbah, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إنما المشركون نجس فلا يقربوا المسجد الحرام بعد عامهم هذا وإن خفتم عيلة فسوف يغنيكم الله من فضله إن شاء. O you who believe, indeed, المشركون نجس. The najasa or impurity here refers to the moral impurity pertaining to belief. That's why they can enter any house except the sanctuary of Mecca and Medina, Al-Haram. Al-Haram and the Kaaba, because these places have been made as a sanctuary by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, are only appointed for the believers. As you know that this ayah has been revealed to ban the pagans, the idolaters, who used to come and perform tawaf in the nude and worship idols around the Kaaba. But an-najasa is not physical. We're not talking about physical impurity. How could you compromise or combine between what you're saying and the ayah which says وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ? How could you ever imagine that the Prophet ﷺ or any Prophet is married to a non-believer, a kitabiyah for instance, and he's sharing bed with her, she's cooking for him, and meanwhile she is impure? The impurity is not the physical impurity. That's why when we shake hands with non-Muslims, we don't have to make wudu, we don't have to wash our hands off. We can eat from their food. All the food other than the meat is only if it is slaughtered in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if it is slaughtered by the people of the scripture. Other than that, there is no problem to shake hands, to live, and to even to marry a Christian woman or a Jewish woman, provided she's a chaste woman, and live with her and share bed with her, okay, and even love her. I'm glad this question came to add up to the previous question, which is the friendship. So you mean that you're allowed to marry to a Christian woman or a Jewish woman, share bed with her, have an intimate relationship with her, kiss her, hug her, and have children from her, but you're not allowed to take her as a friend? What are you talking about? Properly understand the Quran. And najasa is not the physical impurity, it is the moral impurity. The same person, if he says ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna muhammadan rasulullah right now, he is a believer and he is tahir, okay? They can enter the masjid. Many delegations, wafdu Nasara Najran, the Christians of the delegation of Christians of Najran, who came to Al-Madinah and sat in the masjid with the Prophet ﷺ, and they hanged around for a few days and eventually did not accept Islam and they left. Where did they stay? Where did the Prophet ﷺ host them and spoke to them? All the delegations which used to come to Al-Madinah, they didn't have a convention hall or a special meeting room. It was all in the masjid. And najasa is not the physical, rather it is the moral impurity. Furthermore, I just told you, and the hadith is collected by Bukhari, that the woman who cooked by her own hands the sheep with the Prophet ﷺ, she was a Jewish woman. Why don't you reflect on that? Okay, barakallahu feekum.